as the state representative for Georgia's 108th district, I have introduced House Bill 496, which I have dubbed the aroma bill. And this is a bill that says that the smell of cannabis products cannot be the sole probable cause for stop, search, or seizure by law enforcement. This is a common sense Fourth Amendment bill for the state of Georgia, since hemp is legal in the state of Georgia, and because smell is a very objective measure subjective measure for warrantless search. So
that's great. Are there any questions about this bill before we bring on Representative Jackson? Yes.
Is it possible to add at some point, maybe further down the road, but house, like home, to the bill?
Yes, I think the way that it is written now, I do think this is very specific for traffic stops. I think we can expand it to that, but I want to just get on the right track here. And if that comes up in committee and someone offers that amendment, and someone on the committee offers that amendment, I am by all means not going to stop them. I do think that we have to understand that this bill, again, is very practical. It's very common sense. It's very limited on purpose. Someone said earlier, this is not anti-law enforcement by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I feel like this is a very pro law enforcement bill, because it makes sure that if they are going to search, they are doing it constitutionally and not going to be subject to, if there is actually something criminal happening, them losing out or not being able to plead their case or make their case because they had some evidence they can't even use because it was obtained unlawfully.
One last question.
Yes.
Yep. What can advocates do?
Absolutely. So this bill is scheduled for a hearing tomorrow, February 25th at 1:30 p.m. at the state capitol in room 415, I believe, of the Coverdale Legislative Office building, also known as CLOB. If you have the time and ability to come down to the state capitol, we would love to have you in person. I find that having a good showing in a committee lets the people on the committee know that this is something that is important to people. But if you cannot come down to the capitol, you can always contact me at my office and just write your testimony out, and I will make sure that the members of committee actually see that testimony. You can send that to Jasmine, like the flower, .Clark, CLARK, at house.ga.gov.
If someone, for example, say Omar here, as just a tax-paying citizen who's not had a situation, can they write a letter as a business owner, like my friend who owns a CBD store, or as a lifelong Georgia resident? Does it have to be someone who's encountered in the situation?
Absolutely not. You can absolutely write a letter no matter your circumstance. I have actually received letters from people who are in business and who are saying this bill would protect their consumers. It would protect their business as well. And so this is also a good for small business bill, even though people might not think of it. But when you have customers, you want to make sure that you're not putting your customers in a position where they might be stopped or searched by law enforcement. And so this is actually helpful to businesses. So you do not have to have had an encounter with law enforcement to have an opinion about this bill. And we would love to hear from everyone from all walks of life, different perspectives. That is actually the best way to make our point, that this is not just about one thing. There's lots of ways to look at it.
Right, because we do have a study guide that we'll go through, and also sample testimony and everything like that for the advocates. I'm getting ready to put the link down in the chat, and you all should have the study guide along with the other handouts here. Make sure that when you all get to the Capitol tomorrow for this hearing, try to get there early, because a lot of times closer to 1 o'clock, you have different tour groups and you don't want to get caught up in security. So make sure you don't bring any vapes, no guns, anything like that, you just come inside and to the club building. If you need someone to meet you out front, you can feel free. I'm going to put the number down here in the chat where you can go ahead and text me or text one of the advocates and we can meet you out there. But like I say, we're just grateful for this legislation. We appreciate you thinking about us. And it's just like we have case studies throughout the United States. We got Michigan, Virginia, New Jersey. It's quite a few places that's all in your study guide that can help write the testimony. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for having me. And thank y'all so much for highlighting this bill. It's tough to get a hearing down to the Capitol. So when we get it, we got to make the best use of that time. And so I appreciate y'all highlighting this for me.
Thank you so much. All right. All right. As we swap out Representative Derrick Jackson, we have him and he has 1248. We're going to get back to our study guide and everything that we need to go through for the advocates. If you all go to the link, if you're on the Zoom, you can go to the link and click the study guide and everything. How you doing? All right. So now we have the man of the hour. Representative Jackson, you know, we've had so many people come to ask us about you. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the bill.
Yeah, listen, thank you for having me. Sorry I'm a little late, just left the Capitol, but I'm State Representative Derrick Jackson. You know, one of the things that as I was listening to Representative Jasmine Clark, we sit right beside each other. And so it's just amazing how, you know, we support each other's legislation. But I've been in the legislature now 10 years. This is my 5th term. And I'm also running for governor because I'm the only one, when you think about what we're going to be discussing tonight, is bold enough, bad enough, and big enough to have these kind of conversations. We need a governor in Georgia to talk about those things that our families need, not just in the urban area and suburban, but also in the rural area.
Yeah.
And so my bill, House Bill 1248, discusses those things. Now, there's still some tweaks that we need, and I'm sure, but for the most part, House Bill 1248 is the voice of this community, right? I just basically extrapolate all the inputs from you all the last 6 or 7 months when we met right across the street at the bingo, right? You all started giving me some inputs. David gave me some inputs. Aviva gave me some inputs. So this bill is a reflection of your voice, right? And it was loud and clear. It was saying what we need to do in Georgia is to make sure that we have a definition, a very clear definition, because there's a difference between decriminalization and legalization, right? And so when you read House Bill 1248, based on the voices that you all gave me, and so, you know, just to give a few highlights, and I know we're gonna get into it, but when you think about my bill here, it's really to take this from a prohibition model to a more regulated market, right? You're going to see some economical advantages in here for us. You're going to see some legal advantages in here for us, and you're going to see some social advantages in here. For example, where we're dealing with 159 counties and 536 cities, they all have a various decriminalization law. And so what I'm saying, what you all have said over the past 12 months, let's have a state law and spell out what decriminalization should look like. And so in House Bill 1248, you will see, I'm not saying 1 ounce, I'm saying up to 2 ounces, up to 2 ounces. Because see, 1 ounce is really subjective, right? Unless that law enforcement is carrying something to say 1 ounce, it's really subjective. But you can really see 2 ounces. So we should have something where from a personal standpoint, you should be able to have 2 ounces to meet your needs from a personal standpoint. And so my bill says you can have up to 2 ounces on your person. Also, you will see in this bill where, as you all stated, we need to have a Georgia Cannabis Commission. That way you all are the voice to help regulate this new industry here in Georgia. It shouldn't be, individuals such as myself. And so the governor and the House and the Senate should be able to appoint those who are subject matter experts to create this Georgia Cannabis Commission. So that way the experts in this industry will help regulate this industry, right? It will also open up the doors for entrepreneurs and farmers to be able to see this $40 billion industry. Let me say this again for the listening audience. This is a $40 billion industry. And so we shouldn't have the threshold so high that none of us can participate, right? And so that's where that Georgia Cannabis Commission will be able to help set those thresholds so that way the average entrepreneur or farmer can participate in this industry. Also in House Bill 1248, you will see where we're going to, as Dr. Clark mentioned, we got to stop all the subjectivity. And so what we want to do with House Bill 1248 is calling for is for law enforcement. Don't bother yourself with someone's carrying up to 2 ounces of marijuana. Go deal with some real crime out there, right? And that way we can properly, across the state of Georgia, make sure that our law enforcement is doing something more significant than versus, messing with those who have 2 ounces on their person. Last but not least, and now I'd love to open up for questions because there's so much more in this. This bill also seeks clarity around the medical patents, make sure that those who want to have a dispensary be able to have those guidelines, the number of licenses, also make sure that from a testing perspective, subject matter experts will be doing that. And then last but not least, this also preserve home rule. So that way the counties and the cities will be able to operate within the aspect of House Bill 1248. So that way, you have one city saying 1 ounce, another city saying a half an ounce, all that. We're removing all the guesswork, right? And so that's why House Bill 1248, we don't have a date for a hearing yet. I'm going to go talk to the chair, and so we can call for a hearing for House Bill 1248.
That's what we really want. And that takes the advocates. And what we're going to tell you all, basically what needs to happen is we have legislators that are listening to us. Okay, so it's up to us now to go ahead and continue to advocate for ourselves. So we need to make sure that we support the legislators that are listening to us, because they're going to stop listening and put forth legislation if they don't hear from us. It's like, okay, we're going to propose this legislation and I'm going to put myself out here on a limb. And then you don't have anybody else to follow through. So we need to make sure we continue to follow through.
Yeah.
Now I have a question for you though.
Yes.
So right now, the bill doesn't have a hearing.
Correct.
As advocates, what can we do to help get this bill a hearing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now it sits in judiciary, non-judiciary. And so you can call up, send emails to everyone that's on that committee and say, hey, House Bill 1248 is a very good bill. It's going to help citizens in Georgia. It'll help military, those who are dealing with PTSD. It will help the young person that's dealing with seizures. It will help, the city down in Ty, Georgia. And so we just need to make sure that we call the chair, the vice chair, and everyone on that committee. So that way, when this bill comes through, they'll hear the voice of the people, right? They'll hear the voice of the people, to your point, to know that this is something that the people is asking for us to deliver. And we have to get it across the March 6th, which is crossover. So that's the reason why we have a sense of urgency is now to get this bill out before March 6th.
And who's the chairman that we need to contact?
Is it Trey Smith?
Trey Smith. That's right.
Trey Smith.
And that's.
Oh, Tyler, is it?
Tyler.
Tyler.
Tyler Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking Trey is the other.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Tyler Smith.
So Tyler's email address would be
Tyler.smith@house.ga.gov. Yeah.
And it's included in your packet, in your study guide. I think I've included that in one of the links that I shared here. Make sure you contact the assistants too, because a lot of times the legislators, they don't see their bill, that the mail, so
Yeah.
email, so you need to make sure you CC their assistant.
That's exactly right. No, thank you for saying that, because tonight Corey asked me, did you see my inputs? We get thousands and thousands of emails. And so by contacting our assistant is an excellent suggestion. So yes, when you reach out and send us an email, also make sure you copy our assistant. And when you go to legis.ga.gov, that's the website, and you go and click on our name, you will see the assistant that you also need to include.
And this is, again, judiciary committee.
That's right.
Is the one, okay.
Judiciary non-civil.
Yeah. Yep.
But are there any
And this is a good bill because this comes from the people, right?
Yeah.
This is the voice of the people, right?
And
This,
it's a unified bill too.
Oh,
It
yeah.
encompasses everybody.
That's right.
Not just from the medical side, but also from the business side as well.
that's exactly
And
right.
that's exactly what we would like to have, is something that encompasses everything, includes everybody.
That's exactly right. And that's the reason why it was so helpful with you all's input to make sure that we had an economic component to this. So those who look at, Georgia as a big business, and be able to tap into that $40 billion industry. So we got something for the business community. We got something for the legal community, for those who think that this bill is going to help trafficking. No, this bill is all about 2 ounces and less, and those who carry 2 ounces or less. This is not about trafficking, right? But there's a social advantage to this bill too, right? And it complements, Dr. Clark's bill as well, right? It is very complementary to that.
Well, yeah. So I'm gonna pause this 1 second and hold on 1 second before we just change. So we're in a location, so you're gonna hear some feedback for right now. But has everybody had an opportunity to go through your study guide? Are y'all able to get into the links? Because in the back of, if you go to your study guide, okay, cool. So were y'all able to see were you able to see, I'm gonna go ahead and we can go ahead and get started with where are we now?